All right, so in this option, we're going to do the import method and elevate and edit, okay? So you can use either options, whatever you think is going to be better suited for your needs and your data. So I've imported the PDF of the grading plan. It's got the contours and all the spot elevations and everything here for me. And I'm going to go to my Project Explorer, and it happens to be this PDF. Now, you'll notice that I've got two different pages, and the PDFs are the same name. So what I want to do is, I know this was my site plan, so I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to Properties, or I could have just clicked over to my Properties tab, and I'm going to rename this to Site Plan. And that way it's going to help me identify these later. Now, if I go back to Project Explorer, you can see it says Site Plan. I'm going to do the same thing here. If I just go to Properties, I didn't have to right click, I just selected it and I went to Properties. And I'm going to come and I'm going to call this Grading Plan. All right, so that just helps me identify the two images later on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right click on the grading plan, and I'm going to select Import Vector PDF Data. Over here you can see I got Grading Plan and Site Plan. I'm going to pick Grading Plan, and I'm going to go ahead and click Import. So this is going to import in all the grading plan information, and we'll be able to now edit and digitize. Now, when data comes from a PDF, if we look at the 3D view, you can see that it's all flat, all right? So we have to do a couple things here. We have to elevate and also convert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to, you can see that it brought in all the other data that was on that PDF. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my proposed and existing contours. So I'm going to select this contour, and I'm going to hold my control key down. I'm going to select the arc, which is a different color than the straight line. And you can see they're individual objects. And I'm going to go to my View Filter Manager, and I'm going to click on View Only Layers of the selected objects. So what that does is it cleans up some of the data, which makes it a little easier for me to see. I'm leaving the PDF in the background, and you can see over here it removed that line. For some reason, that line isn't on the same layer as this line. So if we go back to our layers here, and I just kind of uncheck and check it, I can see here that that is on another layer. So knowing that I missed that, I'm going to redo this. I'm going to pick that line, I'm going to pick this line, and this line, and I'm going to do the same thing, View Only Objects. All right, so that gives me at least that line there, and it looks like that line there and that line there. So it could be because that's a major contour and this was a minor contour. All right. So similar to the digitizing, but what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to come in and I'm going to take a look at this line, and you know, you can do this in any order. You can do it all together. You can do it individually. What I need to do is join this line and this line. So if I take this, right click, and join to this line, I know there's a gap there. That's fine. I'm going to click yes. And now I've got that line drawn and it's selected. Now, the only problem is if I go to Properties, there's a couple things. Is it doesn't have an elevation, and it's not on a layer. So I'm going to come in here, and because I created that layer in the previous, when I started digitizing, that layer still exists. So I'm just going to put it on this OG contour. If it's not, go ahead and create a new layer. So now I've got that on there and it's turned off. Okay, that's why it disappeared, because I turned off everything except that contour. So if I come back over to here and we take a look under existing, you can see that I've got existing contour turned off, which is fine, all right, because it's going to help me identify which ones I've already done. Now I can do the same thing with this proposed at the same time, and probably work my way across the project might be the best. I could do all existing, then I could come back and do all proposed. So what I'm going to do here is, again, my join line command is still up. I'm going to put focus in here, and I'm going to pick this first line, okay? And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab that one. It says there's a distance of 15 feet. So I'm going to click no. And I'm going to see why that is. All right, so I'm going to close this command for a second. And And I can see if I take this line and I pick this line, there's a, all right, so there's a couple gaps here. So again, I'm just going to start this line, right click and do join lines. And then I'm just going to pick here, and that makes more sense. All right, so it might have been just where I picked. I probably picked down here and it wanted to join from here to there. So just make sure you pick at this end, and you can see these little gaps will get cleaned up. All right, so it's just where it's come together. And again, I'm not too concerned about those little jumps again in this takeoff. So now that gives me that line there. Now again, I can come over to my properties here, and I can, you know, name this as FG contour if I want, which is probably why you could do them all. You can name them all at the same time, so I may come back and do that later. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a new layer because I didn't do this earlier. And this is going to be TO dash proposed. So be my proposed contours or finished ground. So I'm going to do FG underscore or just FG contour. And this is going to be, we'll make this kind of a bold color of, let's make it green, and let's make a thickness for it of 50, protect it, and we're going to put this under proposed. All right. So now I've got that one. All right. So the proposed ones will stay. I could probably just turn those off as well, and it would disappear, but we can go ahead and leave it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause. Actually, I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to join, you know, all these contour lines for both my proposed and my existing, just the way I showed you, and put the proposed on the proposed layer and the existing on the existing layer. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you how to quickly elevate all those contours with just a couple steps.